I joined because I've always wanted to fly. And even though I had got my pilot's license after I got out of high school and stuff, I could not afford to pursue that professionally. I told Deb wherever she went, I'd just go with her. And one day came home and there was a guy sitting there recruiting for warrant officers, for helicopter pilots in the Army. And I said, I don't have any college. He said, you don't have to start with. So that opened the door for me right there to be able to go into the military to fly. Once I passed all the exams and stuff, then I was qualified to be an officer, and next thing I know, I got a class date, and off I went. I was trained to be a helicopter pilot. I trained it back in the old UH-1 Hueys and stuff, and then from there transitioned into the AH-1 Cobra, and that was what we call the gunships. Now I had instructors that took me through to learn how all the basics and everything from at Fort Rucker, Alabama. That's where I went through flight school training, and then from there I went into the unit, okay, which is there at Fort Hood. All the guys I flew with there in that platoon were all Vietnam veterans. I was the only guy that wasn't a combat veteran. Spent 6 years at Fort Hood. And then I actually took and got out of the military for 18 months and had a break in service. But during that time, I got called and got an opportunity to fly with the United States helicopter team. Being selected to fly with the United States helicopter team was a real honor, okay? And I got to do that twice. The Army doesn't have a lot of traveling teams like, the Thunderbirds or Blue Angels, stuff like that. To be able to be selected to do that was a big honor for me to do that. After I got done with that, they called me and asked me to take and go to Arizona and help stand up a training center for gun pilots. So I trained pilots how to take and employ weapon systems, how to be a good scout pilot, lift stuff. So for me, that's probably one of the neatest things is to be able to see guys take and really see the light bulb come on and be able to take an aircraft that they don't know anything about and really just kind of strap it on and learn how to fly it. And then from there, I actually went into standards for the Army. So my last 7 years, I just traveled around the world and did evaluations. And I just trained senior instructors and flew with senior instructors and stuff most of the time there, and just checked to make sure that they were all meeting the standardization that we're supposed to in the military. In other words, we're all on the same sheet of music. So I did that, and then my wife really kind of got tired of well, she'd been with me the whole time. So my kids were all raised now and out of the house. And she got to the point where she said, you know what, we've been doing this for a long time. I'd like to be able to take and just go see my family. The one thing I would say about the military life is it's so different than what we experience out here. You're training with guys. And for me, in my first unit in Fort Hood, I was deployed. The 6 years I was there, I was deployed over 3. And I was gone anywhere from Germany to Europe to different places to national training centers. We might be at Fort Drum, New York, but they pulled our little platoon out of there and sent us to different places just to augment other units and to help train because we had a lot of senior guys. Being with those guys at that unit at that time really helped me mature as a young man, number one. But number two, just as a military aviator, military pilot, you hear the term kind of thrown around a lot of times, my buddy in the foxhole or my wingman. Well, there's times in my career there that my wingman was becoming more important than my family because you depend on them so much. A lot of the guys had to pull me back on that and say, no, your family's first, okay, always, all righty? So to me, it's always been God number one, family, country. And that's just the way the order I've always put them in. But they really helped me mature to be a better aviator, a better leader, and also being in the military and having a family is extremely difficult. Families just don't stay together that hard. And if it hadn't been for me, for a church, okay, for my faith, my marriage wouldn't have made it. Okay, my wife and I both, we really depend upon our church and depend upon God to take and guide and direct us. And without that there, we probably would have been one of the statistics of people who ended up with a divorce. Once I really focused on that, it was amazing how other things came together in the military for me, and also my family life. Yeah, putting him first really made a big difference in my military career.